Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again to SPW. I'm your host, Nick, and before I even start today's episode, I just wanted to apologize for last week. I feel like, I don't know, me and technology have not been getting along apparently of late, so I've just been running into issues, and I try to keep things at a certain standard, so, you know, hopefully when this one airs, it's just fine, and you don't have any audio or delayed problems or any other thing that might happen. I hate to jinx it. I should knock on wood. There we go. But anyways, so once again, thanks for joining us. Obviously, we have Spider-Man coming down to the ring, but we are in a Superman arena. This is definitely the Fortress of Solitude, definitely decked out in kind of like an ice theme, sort of going on here. But Spider-Man coming down to the ring because, well, this one is actually a fan request. Shout out to the Ozone. Thanks for watching. And it was actually their idea that for Spider-Man and Superman inside a cage. As soon as I heard it, I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. I like the idea, inside a cage, specifically because Superman and Spider-Man, notorious for, you know, just kind of flying and or whipping around. So I just kind of figured, you know, at least that way it kind of keeps them contained somewhat. But then they also it's like a quintessential Marvel versus DC matchup, if you think about it. Superman and Spider-Man, you could argue both of them are basically the, you know, the peak of the mountain, as it were, as far as like Marvel and DC and their respective superheroes that have probably made them the most money over time. So, and not to mention, hey, they both have a similar taste in attire. Obviously the MCU and the movie versions, you know, they kind of work in more black. But generally speaking, they're both kind of red, white, and blue. I mean, right? That's what we got going. But anyways, Spider-Man and Superman. This is one that on paper, you'd be like Superman, right? But Spider-Man, I mean, again, the stats on these guys, pretty comparable. Spider-Man, don't forget, has super strength as well. So, I mean, it's not like, yeah, he's a little bit outsized, but he's always outsized. That's his whole thing, right? He's got the agility. So, really, this one, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, you know what, let's do it. So, here we go. Spider-Man and Superman. Right now, Superman definitely getting a good head of steam building. Spider-Man did land some shots, but that's kind of the thing. I feel like he's the one that really has to stay on the move because Superman, I mean, you just don't want him to let it go. You can't let him get a hold of you, really, is what it comes down to. Oh, look at that, though. Speaking of getting a hold of somebody, Spider-Man manages to counter with an incredible move, and then, oh, hey, once more. And he gets Superman on the outside of the ropes. What's he going to plan? Oh, see, again, I feel like another issue, I'm not going to lie, is the age factor, you know? Spider-Man's just a kid in there. I mean, you know, he's probably in his early 20s. It's weird because, you know, when they're immortalized in movies, if you think about it, so they're always kind of that age in your head, and then you see the actor, and you're like, wow, how did you get older? I watched that movie yesterday. But, yeah. Incidentally, I always feel like Tom Holland is just a kid, but I'm like, oh yeah, he's probably in his mid to late 20s now. I don't know. Leave a comment. How old is Tom Holland? I'm curious. Not to mention, opposite that, how old is Henry Cavill? I mean, he's been around a while. Obviously, he had a whole stint as Superman, and I mean, gosh, now all of a sudden he's Wolverine? What's going on? I am curious if that's going to be a permanent thing. I'm not going to lie. Like, if they brought him back as the Cavalrine, I would not be terribly upset by that. But hey, getting back to the match, Spider-Man somehow has Superman on his back, working the legs. Oh, tried to springboard off the middle rope, but surprisingly for Spider-Man, actually misjudged the distance. That's almost like a superpower in itself, if you think about it. Just his ability to, you know, like, see that building up and to the right, probably 200 yards? I bet you I could hit the corner of that, and then swing from that, and then you see that other building, another, you know, 300 yards down. I'm going to swing to that one. I mean, the mathematics alone, like that's kind of why Spider-Man's got that built-in super genius. Because I mean, how else would he be able to? Like a normal person would just, yeah, you could maybe whip one web and then you'd just be in midair, and then you'd be afraid to let go, and then you just swing back into that building and slam really hard into it. Those are just physics. Speaking of physics, Superman, mass over agility, seemed to be in the driver's seat, but really, Spider-Man always good on the defensive. You gotta give him that. I feel like that's kind of one of his things, is that Spider-Man almost always gets, you know, kind of beat up a little bit first, and then he has to problem solve. That's his whole thing, you know. He's got to just kind of work his way, figure out a puzzle. All of his villains have like a puzzle involved of some sort, if you think about it. It's not unlike Batman. Actually, that's what makes Spider-Man great, probably, is just his rogues gallery. A hero is only as good as his villains. And so, in that regard, I would say that maybe Spider-Man is even better than Superman a little bit, because Superman, I mean, he's got good villains, but they're few and far between, at least the ones that you know. Am I right? You're going to be like, you know, Doomsday, Darkseid, and General Zod, and then it starts to drop off. As far as, like, power level, you know what I mean? But then it's Spider-Man, man, you just be at it all day. I mean, the Sinister Six itself has had probably like 9 or 10 different people. So, just throw that out there. Anyways, Spider-Man, really, I am very impressed with him right now. Getting Superman outside, I mean, really, hopefully should start using the cage to his advantage, because he's definitely been able to work his agility, but when you're in this little crowded space, it's kind of, you know, difficult to work your webs, you know? But Superman takes advantage. I mean, again, he's never been like the best fighter. I mean, if you're as strong as him, would you really need to learn like jiu-jitsu? Spider-Man! Now, it's like he heard me, finally. Starting to use the cage. No, there is no, I mean, obviously, it's just a black cage. It's actually just made from normal steel. Probably an alloy of some sort. but yeah, there are no metals inside the cage. I know what you're thinking. There's no metals inside the cage to weaken Superman. That is not why we have a cage. Even if it was in Spider-Man's benefit, and, you know, we're not playing favorites. Honestly, this is one where I'm like, it could go either way. Like, I'm leaning toward Superman, just because, again, he's got the size factor. And if anything, the cage might limit Spider-Man's abilities a little bit, right? At least as long as they keep it in this area, on the side of the cage. I mean, you really, if you're in between the cage and the ring, you really only got like 3-4 feet to work with, and you're pretty much just locked in. You can't like, you know, swivel side to side. And that's, I think, what Spider-Man really needs. But so far, I mean, really, these two just been kind of going back and forth, fairly evenly matched. I am very impressed with Spider-Man, because again, Superman. You expect excellence out of Superman, right? But Spider-Man right now really kind of showing his toughness. I mean, literally, I think he may even be surprising Superman a little bit. Look at this, taking him over the steel steps. They look like they're ice steps in this arena. I mean, who's to say? It might be really cold down there. Can you see their breath? It's kind of hard to tell with the cage. Spider-Man off the ropes. Oh! Superman! Incredible spinning Superman punch. 1, 2. Oh. That was close. It was our first pinfall, and that was 2 3/4. Man. Superman looks like maybe content to bring this back in the ring. I think he was thinking the outside the part. Oh, yeah, see? Outside the ring, I think he thinks is his advantage, because he's limiting the agility of Spider-Man. But Spider-Man, really, bam, look at that! Busts open Superman with a headbutt. That's using your head. Yeah, I had to say it. Sometimes puns are just too good to pass up on. But Spider-Man, content to just kind of meet Superman strength for strength. I don't know what to say. This is not the game plan I would have thought coming into this. And I think that's probably what's catching Superman by surprise. He is literally stunned right now. And getting uppercutted. Oh, shots to the lower back, continuing to hit those steps. I mean, his lifeline right now is by ducking inside the ring and being like, hey, ref, kind of help me out here. But once again, throws Spider-Man outside, but oh, now, yeah, see? That's what I'm saying. He has realized that maybe being in the ring is actually to my advantage. I think he was preparing for one fight, and Spider-Man has just kind of got him on his heels right now. Oh, no! But now Superman just tries to go for that head crush. We've seen him use before on the channel. Spider-Man able to fight his way out of it. Once again, impressed by Spider-Man's fortitude and his strength against Superman, of all people. I think he just kind of wanted to showcase, like, hey, look, I'm not just a wall crawler. Oh, but again! Oh, again! Superman goes for the head and crushes Spider-Man. Oh, I was really hoping Spider-Man was putting on I mean, honestly, doing a great job defensively, keeping Superman on his heels the whole time. But Superman, I mean, really, you can't refute the fact that he's the strongest man on the planet. I mean, come on. That's why people have the argument, Superman or Hulk, because Superman is as strong as Spider-Man was, and as impressive as that fight was actually on his behalf. Superman, once again, just shows us why he is the man. Top of the mountain, and has been since like the 1920s. It's been like 100 years. Is that crazy? Holy crap. That just occurred to me. Wow. Superman. It's like I mean, you know, he's more than that 100 years old in the comics, but in real life, 100 years? What? That blows my mind. Anyways, thanks again for watching. If you haven't done the thing already, and if you've stuck around, like and subscribe. I appreciate it. But we're just doing a bunch of fan requests, I feel like, in the coming weeks. So stick around. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you'd like to see, and we'll just see how long these fan requests take us. I'm not going to lie. Halloween is coming up. I mean, I know it's a few months away, but I'm one of those guys. I just get excited. Yeah. I geek out. So, incidentally, I may or may not be squeaking in some Halloween matches. Yeah, that's going to be a thing. So, keep an eye out, like, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Good night.